Hello Huskies and welcome to another Destiny video. Today we're both here for our first video discussing Taken King content. I am Red Husky.
And I'm Gray Husky, and today we're actually going to be discussing the new exotic weapon called the Sleeper Simulant, which is an exotic heavy fusion rifle, which Bungie thinks will become a rival to the Gjallarhorn.
Now those of us who have a Gjallarhorn know that this is a tall order, so we're going to go through and review what we know about it to see if it stands a chance. Up until this point, everyone thought that this would be an exotic sniper rifle, and if you take a look at it, it kind of does look like one.
You know, I'd actually say it looks like the those Titan gauntlets, the feedback fence.
Maybe. I don't know why, but I kind of see a little bit of Thorn and Word of Proton design. But I do see what you're saying, and it could very well be from the same manufacturer or something like that. And we already know they're trying to integrate the foundries more.
You know, I feel like that gun doesn't look like either of those weapons, but for some reason I kind of do get that same feeling. It does look like Thorn and Word of Crota.
Well, there is still a chance we could both be right, because there is something very different about the way you get this gun. Care to explain about that?
Sure, and you know, Bungie's been talking about new exotic weapons that you actually have to find the parts for and piece the weapon together, rather than just magically finding the weapon, which you may have done little to no work to get. So I've got a quote here from Game Informer. It says, "In order to unlock the gun, players first have to collect the relics of the Golden Age, which have been scattered across the various locations of Destiny. After players bring these pieces back to Banshee 44, the tower's gunsmith, the ancient artifacts trigger a memory in the ancient Exo gunsmith, and he will invite players on an odyssey to repair and reactivate one of the Taken King's most striking exotics."
So you're telling me I don't have to get 500 kills with a void weapon?
Nope.
So the perks are pretty basic for the most part. Nothing's new here. Speed reload, perfect balance, single point sling. What really makes this one special is its exotic perk, which can increase its bounce count to 5.
Now that's pretty crazy, because most other guns, if they even do have a bounce or ricochet, it'll only bounce one time. 5 is insane, and I think that's going to be pretty crazy for PvP in small maps like the Anomaly, because you know it has a lot of small hallways, which I think, you know, if you could get a good shot in that hallway, you could do some massive damage to some enemies.
You know what this tells me?
What's that?
We're going to have some crazy montages and trick shots and all this cool stuff. I'm actually pretty excited to see this. I don't know if you've ever seen the Vex before it got nerfed with fusion rifles. It's a primary, but it got nerfed with fusion rifles because it still is technically a fusion rifle. So I believe that you know, even though this is a heavy, this will still get nerfed with fusion rifles again.
Definitely. I think actually the biggest problem that this gun is going to face would be the Felwinter's Lie and the Matador. Mostly the Felwinter's Lie, because you know those guns have some insane range. You know, fusion rifles, they have just about the same range, but the time to kill on a shotgun like the Felwinter's Lie is just much greater, or much less, I should say. Better.
Now I'm not so sure about that, because shot package is getting nerfed, so it's not going to have the range that it has now. And the other thing is that I basically see a sniper rifle when I see this weapon being used, and it's a heavy, so I don't see it being affected by shotguns that much, because it's got the sniper rifle range.
You're right in the fact that shot package is being nerfed, as well as rangefinder, but then again, they did say that they're going to decrease the range of long-range fusion rifles and increase the range of short-range fusion rifles, basically kind of evening them out. But for the gameplay that we've seen with this weapon already, it looks like it does have some pretty good range on it, so you might be right. I think when heavy comes around in a PvP game, you're gonna have to watch out for this gun, especially in small maps where you know you might feel a little bit claustrophobic, because that gun is gonna be all over the place.
I don't see the problem with that either, because in small maps where there's closed spaces, you don't go into closed spaces during heavy anyway, you know, because you're going to get rocketed, you're going to get hit with a heavy machine gun. You don't want to be in those tight corners anyway. So I don't see this being a viable option in PvP at all.
So maybe this gun will only be good in PvE against bosses and such.
Yeah, I mean, here I'll play the video that Bungie put out of this weapon, and it is a heavy-hitting weapon. Only thing is, I can only see it being as powerful as Gjallarhorn if you manage to trap a boss in that corner where you can hit it 5 times with the overpenetration rounds. Other than that, I don't see it strong enough to be compared to Gjallarhorn.
No, I think Gjallarhorn is, you know, even though it's getting nerfed, I feel like that weapon is always going to be taking up everyone's exotic slot in PvE.
Right, even after the nerf, I would say. I mean, we don't know how much it's going to get nerfed, but it couldn't be so bad that this weapon, which, you know, it is a heavy-hitting weapon, I'll give it that, I don't see it being strong enough to be compared.
No, I don't either, honestly. And even Planet Destiny said they don't think it can take the place of the Gjallarhorn.
Yeah, what was it that you read to me earlier? Something about you can fire off 2 rockets with a Gjallarhorn before you can get off a second shot with this?
Yeah. This fusion rifle is supposed to be extremely low rate of fire. And I don't have a Gjallarhorn myself, but I'm pretty sure it has a slow rate of fire, doesn't it?
Not really. I mean, it's fast enough.
But is it comparable to other fusion rifles like the Plug 1 or the Plan C?
Well, the beauty of Gjallarhorn is that I can be in hiding, jump out, hit the target, and get back into hiding, jump out, hit a target again, and go back to hiding. You can't do that with a fusion rifle at all.
Exactly. I feel like this gun is going to have a really slow charging rate, and that's going to affect people a lot.
So, final verdict, could this weapon compare with the Gjallarhorn?
I don't think so. I think, you know, there are a lot of upsides to this weapon, and I think it could be a very viable option in PvE. Maybe in PvP, given the right circumstances, but in my opinion, I would say the Gjallarhorn is still gonna overpower it because this gun has too many problems. Like, throughout the whole video, you've seen we've been saying all these negative things about it. And, you know, we haven't used it yet, so maybe it's good, maybe it's better than the Gjallarhorn, but I don't think it will be. There are too many flaws. Based on what we know, my answer is also no. I don't think that it'll be as good as Gjallarhorn. And I'm interested in seeing it. It looks like it'll be a fun weapon. You know, just because I like things like the Spartan Laser, you know. That's one of my favorite Halo weapons, but the fact of the matter is, I don't see it being heavy-hitting enough to replace a rocket launcher. No, and especially not the Gjallarhorn of all rocket launchers. Maybe something like the Hunger of Crota, or maybe even Truth. I haven't really gotten to test out my Truth very much, but I don't think it's going to be able to replace the Gjallarhorn. I don't think anything ever will. I think that one is going to be the strongest and most preferred weapon, heavy weapon, for everyone throughout the 10 years of Destiny. Unless, of course, they stop upgrading them through the years. And then there's going to have to be something better than the Gjallarhorn. But I don't really see how they could do that, but, you know, they're Bungie. They're a lot smarter than me, so maybe they could find a way. So maybe there is a weapon that can compare with the Gjallarhorn, that can beat the Gjallarhorn, but it's not this one. I don't think it'll be this one. Well, that's the end of our discussion on the Sleeper Simulant. What do you think? Is this the weapon to dethrone the Galley? Let us know in the comments. I've been Red Husky. And I'm the Gray Husky. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe as always. If you didn't like it, tell us why, and we'll be sure to fix it next time around. Thanks for listening, and all hail the Husky Queen.
After fully upgrading my dry rot, I realized that it's probably one of my favorite weapons for PvE. Other than its insane rate of fire and the ability to take out multiple targets, this gun can deal massive amounts of damage on